Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.
In a world where everyone says hello,
they dare to say,
g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day. Yes, good day. Yeah, g'day. G'day. Yeah, g'day. Yeah, yeah, good day.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
good day.
G'day. Hey, yeah, g'day. Yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Oh, welcome to episode 10 of Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm so glad you could make it. I'm so glad that you've recovered from the long weekend in Melbourne. I'm so glad you've recovered from the AFL Grand Final. And boy, howdy, am I glad that insert name of team that won here won the game.
Oh, it was a good game. They sports hard, and insert team that won here. I think they really shone. And the same with the NRL.
Some could say that they flew. Some could say they ran like tigers. Wait, shit.
Yeah, it was one of the two.
And then the rest of all the sports references. The sport's on today, and Tim and I are taking time out of our sports watching to record the podcast because we're dedicated to our art form.
No, congratulations to all the boys. They all put on a show, I guess. I don't fucking know.
What I love about sports is that, so there's two things that I love about sports. Number one is how people that aren't connected to the players whatsoever in any real way comment to the players or talk about it like, oh, the lads did well, I'm proud of them. Or they'll see them on the street and be like, oh, you played well, Jimmy. And it's like, you don't fucking know these guys.
Or they say, we did it. We finally did. No.
You did
No.
nothing.
They did it. You did nothing.
It's like, and then the other thing is the commentators. The commentators get me in all sport form because they're always like 800 years old and haven't played in 20 years. They're like, you made a bad decision there. And it's like, Darren, if you could run like that man at your age, I would give you a high five.
Yeah.
So
anyway, the bloody sports, isn't it? So good on them. Good on them.
Bloody exciting. But Tim, we're not here to talk about sports. So that was last week's episode, which you should go and listen to if you haven't listened already.
Yeah, we talk sports good times.
Yeah, and we do have continuing lines of themes that go through all our episodes, actually. Red carpet, that'll remind you of episode 4. So
Didn't remind me because I can't remember it.
Today, Tim.
Yeah.
As with every 5 episodes.
Every 5th episode, one might. Well, you just said.
I did just say it. If I've said it, it's fact. We're going to talk about another Australian bushranger. Is that the A-Team theme?
Yeah, I think it is actually.
Because A-Team is the most Australian TV show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them operated as A-Team.
Oh. I've never thought about that before.
So
I was actually looking up, because I was Googling about the bushrangers that we're looking out for, and one of the most common Google searches is, who is the bushrangers? Or who are the bushrangers?
Who are they?
Bushrangers, for those of you listening abroad, I know we've got some listeners in Japan and America and the UK because we're
the
fancy
US,
as.
Yeah, the US and other countries.
A bushranger is a convict, is someone who was in Australia in a certain period of time.
Sometimes they're free people.
They can start as freemen, but they usually have a line of, because Australia was built on convicts coming here. Well, no, sorry, white Australia and European settlement was built on convicts coming here. And so all of that, it kind of, everyone went to it. There were about 2,000 bushrangers at the time.
Yeah, basically Australia in the early days of white settlement was primarily farmland, stock riding, that sort of thing. A lot of people, being from a criminal background, decided, fuck it, we're not going to do this the legitimate way, we'll just steal things.
Oh, you got to keep it in the family.
Yeah, so, and a lot of these guys didn't mean to, which we'll actually get into kind of in a little bit with the one we're talking about today. But there was it was a different culture back then. And these guys became kind of cultural anti-hero icons, both in their time and still today.
Yeah, anti-hero heroes. They were bad guys, but we liked them more.
Yeah, they're kind of revered, even though a lot of the time they actually killed a lot of people.
Yeah, I always go back to the Robin Hood thing. Steal from the rich, give to the needy. That was kind of that was their thing. That was the bushranger deal. That's why they weren't called thieves or criminals.
And cops back then were kind of assholes.
They were a bit wayward.
Yeah.
But so that's, bushrangers. And today we're talking about one in particular. Tim, today We're going to talk about Martin Cash.
Martin Cash.
Doesn't have the same kind of ring to it that then Captain Thunderbolt did, does it?
No, it's not quite the same, but let me tell you, this guy's story is damn good.
How good?
Oh, it's at least as good as the last one we did.
That's good. Well, I'm glad that you prepared because, as
Yeah.
per usual, I know nothing. Surprisingly, I know nothing about this topic because I am a bushranger aficionado.
You do know a few things about him. Yeah, look, Cash. Cash is an interesting one because with a lot of these bushrangers, often they come from poorer backgrounds. They're usually, in a lot of cases, not literate, illiterate, one might say.
The opposite of literate.
Conliterate.
Anti-literate.
But in Cash's case, he was born in Ireland originally, and he grew up in a wealthy family, and he was literate.
Right.
The only reason he ended up out here at all is that when he was 18, so he was, just to give you the bare hard facts of it, he was born on the 10th of October, 1808.
Oh, coming up to his birthday.
Yeah, it is actually. In Enniscorthy, County Wexford in Ireland.
I was going to say, impossible to pronounce.
I'm definitely not pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, he grew up in a wealthy family and was literate. The only reason he ended up out here, he was transported as a convict. When he was 18, he started hanging out with this bird who was selling straw hats. And he was giving her a bit of money because the straw hat industry wasn't doing too well at the time.
I'm
glad it bounced back because it seems to be doing wildly now.
The straw hat boom of 1890 was where it really kicked off.
Yeah, but anyway, basically, he had a bit of a temper problem, it would seem, and another man was hitting on his bird, and he got a bit annoyed, and he shot him.
Yeah, look, Martin, if I just want to sit you down for a second. This isn't how we deal with our problems.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a little bit of an overreaction. Maybe push him.
I saw you talking to my girlfriend. I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah. So anyway, he was sentenced to 7 years penal transportation, which meant he had 7 years hard labour and he had to be taken over to Australia. So he arrived in Sydney on the 10th February 1828.
And what a punishment. Like, if I did a crime and someone sent me back to Sydney, it'd be fucking horrible.
Ugh. Awful place.
I don't want to go back there.
No,
back then there was
if you live
no...
in Sydney, we still love you.
There was no Opera House. There was no Harbour Bridge.
No.
What's the point? There was no Darling Harbour. Well, the harbour was probably there. What's the point?
Yeah.
So he got sentenced to Sydney.
He was, yep. And then he got assigned to a gentleman living in Richmond, which is Richmond in Sydney, not Richmond in Melbourne.
Richmond in Sydney is very far away.
Up the Tigers.
Richmond in Melbourne is quite close to the city. It's very
Yes, it
weird.
is.
He got assigned to a man.
He got assigned to a man there in Richmond, but this man also had farms in the Hunter area, which is kind of just north of Sydney area. It's a really nice wine growing area
Wine
now,
country.
actually.
Yeah, that's nice. Good for him.
Good on him. Bloody good on him.
Done well for himself.
And he did. He served 9 years as a stock rider there. Then he got himself into a bit of a trouble again. Similar story to Mr. Thunderbolt.
Sir Mr. Captain Thunderbolt.
Mr. Thunderbolt.
Captain was his first name.
In that he was doing a job for a bloke who had a cattle ranch there, branding some cattle who he didn't know were stolen.
Well, bloody hell.
Yes, or that's what his story was. Anyway, so he was doing that with his mate, and then these two strangers came along, and they must have known that the cattle was stolen, reported him. So he was supposed to... I think he was supposed to be sent to Norfolk Island as a penalty, but he decided to get out of there, and he went to Tasmania before he actually got caught.
Norfolk Island now is a holiday destination, is it not? That's where that's Easter Island where the big heads are.
Yeah, Easter Island's the big heads, but
Norfolk
Norfolk
Island
is it's a place to go.
Again, don't want to go to a nice beachy area with lovely, horrible.
But yeah, so he went to Tasmania, which back in the day was called Van Diemen's Land.
Well, it still is in my book. If you ask me, it's still Van Diemen's Land.
All right, well, you'd be wrong. Anyway, he arrived there on the 10th of February, 1837. Did a lot of travelling around the 10th of February, it seems. He arrived in Sydney on the 10th of February, 28. He got to Hobart, 10th of February, 37.
Gosh, that was a long trip.
Yeah. I don't think you were listening to what I said he did in between there.
Some
but that's
would say
fine.
I wasn't. So he's in Van Diemen's Land, a.k.a. Tasmania.
Yeah.
AKA.
So anyway, he's in Van Diemen's Land. He's hanging out in Hobart. Eventually, I don't know, it doesn't say what he did, but he eventually ended up in front of a magistrate. by the name of John Price, who sentenced him to 2 years in addition to the original 7 years sentence, and 4 years for hard labour in Port Arthur.
Port Arthur.
Port Arthur is known as, or was known as just not a place to be.
It was one of the main convict colonies, was it not?
It was. It was a convict colony. I went there last year, actually. It's like in a car. I think it took us like 2 hours to drive there from Hobart. So, and this is just like a piece of land that's surrounded by forest on all three sides, and the other, it goes out onto the bay. And they worked them hard there. There was quarries, and they were felling trees and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, it was really rough out there. And obviously this time, no electricity. It's cold in Tasmania as well. It would have been awful. So anyway, he was there. He escaped briefly, very briefly, but was caught again, had 18 months added to his time.
Rough.
Yep. And then again, he escaped.
Okay, I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah, he is known as I think he's the only man to escape from Port Arthur, and he did it like a couple of times.
Well, I think, I don't know if other people have escaped from Port Arthur, but it seems like he did it successfully and was gone for a while. Like, I think at one point it said he escaped and was gone for like 2 years or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like he just kind of got out and got put straight back there. And like, to escape from Port Arthur, yeah, like as you said, there's like woodland on all the sides and forest, and then there's water. It's like, well, where do you go? Where do you run to?
And when we were there, we were talking about, I think they might have talked about Cash, but I didn't really know who he was at the time. They were talking about, to escape from Port Arthur, it's like a 2 or 3 day trek to get to Hobart if you're going by foot through the forest. And they had signals, like in Lord of the Rings when they light, that's a reference hopefully people get, where they light the fire and it like does like a thing. So they could get a message to Hobart in like 2 hours.
Right.
So as soon as he escaped and they realised, they just send the message to Hobart, and then all of a sudden that entire countryside is just going to be covered in troopers.
Wow.
But yeah, he managed to get out.
Still got out. Yeah, okay.
This one, the second time he almost made it across Bass Strait, but he was caught and faced 10 years. They put him another 10 years on him for Port Arthur.
Hope he bloody loves Port Arthur because he's there for a while.
Yeah.
There for a long time, not a good time.
Not a good time at all. So actually, I've misspoke. Up until this point, he hasn't been at Port Arthur.
Oh.
But he has escaped whatever his holding has been up until this point.
Okay, right.
Now he goes to Port Arthur.
Right, okay.
They say, nah, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he needs
keeps
the hard
escaping.
stuff.
Let's give him to Port Arthur.
Yeah.
He tried to escape Port Arthur once, failed.
Yeah.
He did manage to swim across the water, though, the or Eagle Hawk Neck, which apparently is shark infested, and he was the first guy to do so.
Oh, okay.
Didn't make it. They caught him, obviously, but by doing that, he got a lot of respect from his prisoners.
Was he covered in like the jelly and stuff like they do when you swim across the English Channel?
Is that a thing?
You know, there's like the jellyfish and for coldness, and it's a thing. Look it up. You swim. You should know this shit. Anyway,
yeah, we just naturally learn all of that stuff.
Eagle Hawk.
But on Boxing Day, 1842, that's
What a
the 26th of December for people who are not
celebrate.
aware of what Boxing Day is. Martin Cash, George Jones, and Lawrence Kavanagh got out of the work party that they were a part of, hid in some dense scrubland. They had a little bit of food, made their way 15 kilometres to the Neck, which is, if you know Tasmania, Port Arthur's kind of out on this little peninsula area, and there is like a little neck part that you have to pass through.
Right.
So they made it all the way there. I think they swam the entire way with their clothes over their thing, over their head. Once they got there, they were naked. They robbed a road gang, got some more clothing.
Nothing like getting robbed by a bunch of naked
and they
guys.
started bushranging. That's when they started. A 20-month spree of bushranging, robbing mail coaches and homesteads and inns just all around that area.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting.
So he wasn't classified as a bushranger until that point?
No, until he escaped from Port Arthur.
Right.
Up until that point, he was just a convict who was very good at escaping.
It's interesting that there's this definition between criminal versus like convict versus like bushranger.
Yeah, I think Yeah, I don't know what...
Because they talk about bushrangers, like the definition again also says stuff where it's like, they rob coaches or homesteads or rich people or that, whereas I guess criminals just rob others. And I guess bushrangers, their whole thing is ranging the bush, like they hang out in the bush. They stay out in the bush,
yeah. I guess that's probably it.
Interesting.
But they became known as Cash & Co., the three of them.
Cash & Co. sounds like a bloody lawyer's firm.
Yeah, Cash & Co.
Went down to Cash & Co. the other day and they stole my money.
Yeah, so that was about 20 months that they spent doing that sort of stuff.
That's a good amount of time.
August 1843.
Yep.
Discovers his partner Bessie, who was a woman he tried to escape with from one of the previous jails.
Right.
Was with another man in Hobart. Now we know from previous experience.
Now, old Marty Cash.
Marty doesn't like this sort of shit going down.
Marty is the equivalent of when Marty McFly gets called chicken in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
When he hears that he's been cheated on, he's not a happy man.
He's pissed off and immediately swears to kill both of them, not just the guy. Bessie's dead too.
Marty, again, I'm going to sit you down, mate. You can't treat people like this.
Yeah.
So he's going to kill everyone.
He is. So anyway, August 29th, he's spotted on Brisbane Street, which I'm assuming is a street in Hobart.
Yes.
Near the old Commodore Inn. Oh, the old famous Commodore Inn.
Oh, yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah, you've been there, right? Yeah.
Gunfight ensues with Constable Peter Winstanley, and Cash shot him, and the constable died 2 days later.
Right.
So that's his second kill that I'm aware of. I guess maybe he killed people in his bushranging days, but I feel like they probably would have mentioned it.
Yeah, okay. So kills a constable, which is always a bad time when you're a bushranger. That's kind of when it goes downhill fast.
Yeah, as soon as you kill a cop, that's usually the end of that one. Trialed for murder, September of 1843. Found guilty, sentenced to death by hanging.
Nice. The only way to sentence someone to death at that time. Good way.
He was given a last-minute reprieve. And he was transported to Norfolk Island,
right?
Which is where he was kind of originally meant to go back in the day.
So he ended up going there.
He ended up going there.
I think most people would say that Norfolk Island is better than being hanged.
I would go with that. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Most places are.
Yeah. He eventually became a trustee on Norfolk Island, and he actually became a constable.
Oh, good for him.
After his bushranging days, they were like, you know what? Be a cop. You've killed a cop. Be a cop.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
You must kill one to become one, I think is the old bushranger saying.
Exactly. He married in 1854, granted his ticket of leave later that year. 1854 to 1856, he was an overseer of the Royal Hobart Botanical Gardens.
Oh, that's nice. The nice garden.
Nice?
Yeah. Good flowers,
he had a daughter named Monique.
Or
Monique, maybe it's pronounced like that.
Monique. I feel
it seems like he just kind of turned a corner.
It does. Monique doesn't sound like the kind of name that would come out of the 1800s to me, does it?
No, it's a very unusual name for that time.
This is Martin. This is Betsy Lou and Monique.
Yeah.
Okay. So good for him. Yeah, he really did. He runs a garden. He's got a family. He's a constable.
I think at this point he's still technically a convict, and obviously he has done terrible thing, but he's like doing better.
Yeah.
But he travels to Christchurch in New Zealand.
Yep.
Where he kept several brothels. So he's turned a corner, but he's not that good.
Well, if you're going to open up one, you may as well open up a few.
And I mean, if business is booming, what are you going to do but expand? You've got all that money.
It's all about scalability. Yeah. Like, can you scale up your brothel business?
Exactly. But if you're going to go in front of the Shark Tank.
Hello, my name is Martin Cash. I'm looking for an investment of £100,000 for 10% of my company.
Yeah.
I have 6 brothels.
Yeah.
And we're looking to scale up. How would you scale that up, Martin? Well, I'd train a bunch of people. Sorry, I could go on forever. I love Shark Tank. That'd be a good one. We should do Bushranger Shark Tank.
We should. He became a free man. So he actually finally became an actual free man in 1863.
Someone gave him a sock and he became a free elf.
He was in Tasmania. He died in Glenorchy in Tasmania in 1877, and he is one of the only bushrangers to actually die of old age. Usually they get shot or
hanged.
Hanged.
Man, come on now. That's I believe. Yeah, he's one of the. Yeah,
but he's one of the only ones that actually died of old age because after he shot the cop in Hobart, it looks like he was doing a bit better for himself. Realised he was on a bad path, I reckon.
I guess when you're a bushranger, that's the turning moment. Right, so that's
Marty, his life.
Marty Cash's life. It comes to a nice end, which is quite good, as we said, for a bush. This will probably be our only bushranger with a happy ending.
Yeah.
I guess, after you've got the booming brothel business, it's good. He must have been doing well for himself.
He must have been doing real well for himself.
I found a quote about old Marty Cash.
Oh, yeah?
Let me just find it for you. Sorry. So it was So the interesting thing about Martin Cash as well is that he wrote an autobiography.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like ghostwritten with another guy, but that's kind of weird as well. And I actually really wanted to see if I can find a copy because that'd be super interesting.
Apparently,
to read.
it was like super popular.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
a bestseller.
Yeah.
But in this article here, this article that's titled "How Did Martin Cash, a Gentleman Bushranger, Evade the Hangman Despite Killing a Man?" From the ABC News website, I was scrolling through and I found a quote that I just really liked because it has a really good description of him. So. It says that so when he escaped one of the places when he was looking for that Pratt guy, and supposedly there were like 100 people looking for him to try and like stop him and take him down, take down Cash. Then the quote is that Cash was armed and had 3 pistols under his coat. That's fine. That seems normal.
Yeah,
to
he's
me.
ready for a fight.
Yeah. The rest of the quote is, but he was a great runner.
He's a good runner.
He was a great runner. You know, Marty Cash, fucking fast ass.
Yeah.
He must have been a great runner.
He must have
escaped that many times.
I mean, he made. Okay, I think they swam, but they must have been bloody fit to make 15 Ks. The 3 of them. When they escaped Port Arthur to the neck there.
It was the original Ironman competition.
Yeah,
that's how it started.
That's insane.
And a bit of recent history with our good friend Marty Cash was that his firearm was stolen from the Launceston and Queen Victoria Museum and Art Gallery in 2013.
Right.
So there were a bunch of firearms for different bushrangers and that. Now, what I want to know is if the person that stole the firearms had their own firearms, or if they decided to use the firearms stolen as their weapons, because that's just a bad idea.
It does seem like a bad idea. That's definitely going to explip in your face.
It's like, come out with your hands up. It's like, hold on, I just need to put the gunpowder in, and I just need to get, the flint's gone.
Tap it.
If you guys could stop shooting at me whilst I load my gun, please.
Hold up. Fucking hell.
And then he tries to aim it at them and he shoots them in the foot when he was aiming for their head because of the... So that was stolen in 2013. I don't know if they got them back.
We live in Australia. Bushranger culture is a big thing here. Obviously, it's not hugely known around the world, but I just don't think that I would care enough to steal something like that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just trying to find out if it's worth anything. So the person stole. The other gun was a 5. He stole a couple of guns by the looks of it. Why? What's the point in stealing?
Like maybe
that?
Ned Kelly's gun. But I don't really know who. Apart from what we've done for the research for this, but I don't think many people would know who Martin Cash is. But now they do because we've told them.
Yeah.
Whoever stole the gun, you can thank us for putting the value of that baby up now.
Yeah, without us, the gun would have nothing. I can't see how much it cost the museum to buy because the museum bought the gun at one point.
Yeah, right.
That'd be quite interesting to see if they're still there. But yeah, I feel like what's the point?
I don't know.
Like, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Sell it to a collector? A collector probably wants it to be in the museum for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, and the collector's probably aware that you stole it, so you can't sell it. It's
now,
a pretty niche item.
Tim, as with our Captain Thunderbolt episode, we do have to rate Martin Cash on a scale of, at the moment, 1 to Captain Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
So for anyone who hasn't heard the Captain Thunderbolt episode, what we're doing with our Bushranger series is that we're going to rate the beards or the facial hair of the Bushrangers, but we're going to rate it on a scale that only becomes populated by bushrangers. So at one point, we'll be able to say their beard is a Ned Kelly on a scale of 1 to Leon Huxtable, because my beard is huge. We're going to use people's names as the scale. So at the moment, the scale is 0 to Captain Thunderbolt.
It's just 0 to Thunderbolt.
And Thunderbolt had an alright beard. Now, looking at Martin Cash, have you seen the picture?
I have. There's only really one picture of him, and it looks like it's when he's a bit older.
Yeah, I don't have any young boy pictures, but on a scale of 1 or 0 to Captain Thunderbolt, he's probably sitting in a place that would be equivalent of maybe like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, the man has some good mutton choppy sort of beard going on, but it's
no
not
beard.
It's not a big beard.
I feel like a full beard probably sits in like the 5 area, of any level, like a beard is 5 onwards, and under that is different forms of facial hair.
It's definitely an eloquent. Yes, it's a very well worded picture of him. It's a very
it's well formed,
elegant picture for a bushranger, especially.
Yeah.
And this is actually the picture that I'm looking here on his wanted poster that they used. So he must have been young when this picture was done, because this picture is on his wanted posters.
Yeah, I think maybe he looked old a long time ago. I found some pictures as well. I'll have to maybe share them around. There's one where he's pulling a very weird face, and I think he's just very old. But yes, on a scale of 0 to Captain Thunderbolt, he's definitely sitting right now at a Martin Cash.
Oh, definitely. You know what's interesting? Thunderbolt has had movies made about him.
Correct.
I would like to see a movie about this guy. I think that this guy's movie, I mean, it's very Jean Valjean.
Yeah. He looks a bit like Jean Valjean as
He does a bit, actually. I would like to see a movie about this one.
I feel like it'd be easy to make a movie considering what I have in front of me right now is the cover to his book, which the title reads, like the cover reads. Now, remember, this is an old cover for a book, so I'm loving this already. It says, "Now ready, price 1 shilling."
Ooh.
Those are 2 of the big words on there.
That's a big...
Martin Cash, the bushranger of Van Diemen's Land in 1843. A personal narrative of his exploits in company with Kavanagh and Jones and his experiences at Port Arthur and Norfolk Island. To be had of all booksellers. J. Walsh and Sons, Walsh and Bros and Birchall.
Is that the front cover or the
That's the
fucking
front cover.
first page?
That's the fucking front cover. Buy this book. Here are all the things that are contained within it.
Yeah.
No need to buy the book. 1 shilling. I'd pay it. I'll pay a shilling.
Yeah.
I reckon we can find it. If anyone's got a copy of it and wants to send it to us, that'd be grouse. But otherwise,
But surely, I reckon
I'm gonna
they'd
go on the
probably
hunt. It's
still,
probably on.
Let's talk to the people at Penguin. Maybe they've got a
Wouldn't
copy.
it be public domain now? Probably.
Oh, definitely.
So we can probably just find it online. But the beard's okay. Now, Tim, why are we talking about beards? I'll tell you why we're talking about beards. Because number one, we're talking about bushrangers.
Ooh, bushrangers have beards. That's a fact. Look it up.
Look it up in our scale of 1 to Captain Thunderbolt. But Tim, you and I have beards.
We do both have beards. That is correct. Yours is beardier than my beard, but it is a beard nonetheless.
Yeah, you're more of a Martin Cash and I'm more of a Thunderbolt.
Yes.
But by Thunderbolt I mean times. Anyway, my beard, Tim, and your beard needs care. All beards need care.
Every beard.
Tender love and care.
Tender love.
And who better to treat our beards than bushrangers?
Yeah.
And so we buy Bushrangers Brew.
We do buy Bushrangers Brew. What a delicious brew it is.
It is. We finally, from our good friend Joel, got our shipment of products. Tim and I both got beard balm, beard oil, and beard wash.
We did, yes.
I went for Mystics. I've been using Mystics probably 2 years now. It's a great... it's a very good smell. I think it's a bit lemon myrtle-y, maybe is a good way to explain it. But it also smells a bit like candy, and I really like it. It smells like hard-boiled lolly, so I love it.
Yep.
Very sweet. I used the balm the other day. It's the first time I've used balm in probably since my first Bushrangers brew order like 4 or 5 years ago. I haven't used balm since then. Back then I was using Rum Rebellion, I think. Anyway, and balm is good. It gives you a bit of style in your beard. It gives you a bit of... I don't know why. I was just smacking my beard while saying that so that everyone can see that.
Yeah.
Tim, what did you get? Tell us.
I got Bunyip Dreaming in both the wash and the oil. That's a good smell.
Smells like a bunyip.
But my favorite out of it is actually the balm as well. Actually, which I got Rum Rebellion. That's a spicy rum, isn't it?
Spicy rum.
I used it the other night. My final show of Gym with the Tea. We went out and had dinner afterwards, and I thought to myself, "Oh, you got to look good for this one, boy."
Oh yeah.
So I put on some of that balm, and actually, it smelled really nice. I could smell it like all night as well.
It was
really,
actually
really
Tim's best show as well.
Yeah.
The beard balm made
Do
it.
the two correlate? Probably not.
I think so.
Let's pretend that they do. No, look, it's good stuff.
It's delicious stuff.
It's good stuff. So.
If you want to get your own stuff, I know one of our listeners, Adam Dota, I always forget how to say that. We should really write things down. He bought a Beard Migo pack, which I think has all those things included that we got.
Yeah.
And he bought it. And you know why he bought it? Because he used the discount code YEAHGDAY.
Get a discount.
Which is YEAHGDAY.
Yeah.
And I believe that gives you...
Isn't it 25?
25% off your order.
Which is a big deal.
That's
a
huge
lot.
discount.
Yeah, that's a lot of a discount. So... For God's sake, if you've got a beard, or if you know someone that has a beard, or if somebody you know knows of somebody that has a beard...
Okay, I'm getting lost in the analogy, but yeah.
Give Joel your business, because this stuff is good. Like, it is brilliant stuff. And use that discount code, because you're not going to get a better discount than that.
It's all natural ingredients as well, which what makes it even better. But go to www.bushrangersbrew.com using discount code YEAHGDAY, all caps, no spaces, no punctuation, for 25% off your order.
What a delightful little ad voice you used there.
Man, I'm good at that.
You are indeed. Hey, I can hear a sound. Ooh, a spooky sound.
I do hear that sound. What is that sound again? It's Harold Holt Watch.
Whoa, this is a good one. Look, I'm going to be real with you for a moment.
I'm going to be real. It's going to be fun to edit considering you didn't pause. I'm just going to have to cut. I'm just going to cut
sorry.
that bit and just... No, it's fine.
Do you want me to pause now?
No, you go. No, it's fine. I just wanted to part the kimono and tell people what I have to do now after... Anyway, keep going. Come on. Please stop pausing.
I'm paused. Up until today, we actually hadn't heard anything about Harold Holt. We haven't heard anything for a little while since our last letter.
About 2 weeks.
And sometimes we get stuff through and we've got to kind of filter through it. But we hadn't heard anything. And then I was coming down. We're going to record this. And I thought, okay. I woke up this morning. What are we going to talk about on Harold Holt? It's Harold Holt week. So we've got to have something. We're sitting on the couch. We're watching the AFL. The opening song the Killers were playing, you'll remember. We were watching it literally about an hour and a half, maybe an hour ago.
They were.
I get a text.
Right.
From my mate Josh. You don't know him. He goes to another school.
Right. Okay. Josh. Yeah. I've heard of him.
He says, hey, mate, chuck on the AFL Grand Final. I reckon you'll see it. I wrote back, watching, loving the Killers. They look like they're big AFL fans.
They did say that one.
They did, yeah. He yelled AFL Grand Final, which you can tell means he's big into AFL.
That's why they came over here.
Josh writes back, look closer at the drummer. Fuck me if it's not Holt. And I write back, because they showed the drummer a few times. Holy shit, he hides it well under that long wig, but I reckon you might be right. Josh writes back, oi, put me on your podcast. It's time for me to shine. I write back, yeah, I'll read out your messages, but I'll change your name. Josh wrote back, get fucked you, and then a string of very inappropriate language.
No, Josh would like that.
Yeah.
See, I was watching this with you, and you didn't tell me this whilst I was watching it.
I wanted to surprise you on the show.
I was watching it going, that hair doesn't look real. Like, it was sitting quite... I thought it was a receding hairline. It was sitting quite far back on his head, but it was Holt.
He was there. Look...
We're not going to miss out on the AFL Grand Final,
Of course he's not. He's a Victorian at heart, is what it comes down to, and he couldn't stay away. So he stood in as drummer of the band for the Killers today at the AFL Grand Final opening concert, and no, it might not have been him, but Josh and I reckon it might have been.
I reckon it was.
You've
got to have faith, people. In these dark times that we're in, you got to have faith that Harold will appear when we need him most.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man.
Rise from the ocean.
We miss you. We miss you, big fella.
Sure, every day. That was him. That's crazy. Well, if you see Harold, make sure you text us or you write to us at yeahg'daypodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can send us a message on yeahg'day.com as well. The little form on there.
You can, and you can find us on the social media and that. So, Tim... I know it feels like it was a bit of a quick one today, but sometimes you just want to tell people about bushrangers, and you want to get in, you want to get out.
Yeah.
Want to get in and out. That's all you want to do.
Yeah, right, mate.
Get into it and then get out of it.
Calm down.
Just get out. Sorry, I'm just so amped because the grand final's on. So, Tim,
yes,
we have for just over a week and a bit now, we've been on the Auscast Network.
We have indeed. Ooh, it's been a spicy ride.
It's been great. I'm loving it. I'm loving what we're doing with Andy and Liam. I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute. And this week I want to tell you about a couple of shows that are on the Auscast Network. So
yeah, you've had some time to listen.
I have had a quick time to look at all of them. So if you want to find out all the shows that are on the Auscast Network, sorry, I'm just too excited. You can go to www.auscastnetwork.com. That's AUSCAST, Auscast. One of the shows on there, Tim, is called Once Upon a Tangent, which sounds a little similar to what we do here.
It does.
It says they write ads for a living, but can they sell their idea for their own children's story while the other one tears it apart?
Ooh.
Now that's tantalizing.
That sounds like something I could get behind, definitely.
I'd love to hear people have their dreams and ideas torn apart by their co-host. We do it here regularly.
Yeah. Sounds like a day in the Q manor.
So check out Once Upon a Tangent.
Yeah, have a listen to those.
Another
guys.
one for you, Tim, is called One Newsman and a Web Guy.
Ooh.
Every week, Tim... Is it you, mate?
Ooh, maybe it is. Maybe it's not. It's not.
It's not. Every week, Tim and Marcus tackle the big issues making news and usually come off second best. I know that feeling when it comes to the news, mate. I try to tackle it all the time and never come off well. So one newsman and a web guy.
Both.
On the same podcast.
They've got them both on the same podcast? We don't have the budget for that kind of thing.
Let alone are those two great.
Yeah.
There's more. There's still
Okay.
more.
All right, hit
Another
me.
one I want to tell you about is called Is This Movie For You?
Oh, I know about this one.
Yeah, so Is This Movie For You? Short and simple movie reviews answering the question, is this movie for you? Now
Get behind these boys.
Now these
Definitely.
are short. They're like, I'm looking at the episode lengths, and the longest I can see is 10 minutes.
very short.
So you get in there and you get out. I know that they've talked about Kingsman recently. They've talked about Bad Mums. They've talked about Mother. They talk about all these things. And I know that if you're in, I think they're in Adelaide. I think if you're there, they do events as well. They'll go to the movies and invite people along. So
Yeah.
is this movie for you? Another great one that can answer your question, really, because the question is this movie for you? And then the last one, Tim, I want to tell you about. The last one is called The Bad Cast.
Bad cast.
It's got Liam and Big Al, and they tell bad jokes and tell crazy stories. And you better believe, Tim, that this show is NSFW. That's not safe for fucking work, is what that stands for.
That's what that means.
So the Bad Cast. Now that's the four of them, Tim. That I wanted to
you
tell
want
you
to
about
tell me
today.
about all four of them.
That's what I'm
you've
telling you.
covered four, so well done.
Check out the Bad Cast. Check out Is This Movie For You? Whilst you're there, check out Once Upon a Tangent, and then just tickle your pickle with a bit of one newsman and a web guy.
Yeah.
All of that's available on Auscast Network. It's all on Audio Boom, the platform that we also host on, and any of your other podcast apps like Apple Podcasts and Pocket Catcher and Pods and Cods Pods and Catchers Cods.
Wherever you are, they'll be there too.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, they put the podcast in you.
Ooh, inside?
Yeah, it goes in your ears. Tim,
Yeah.
bloody exciting stuff as always. Love these episodes. You've done well for yourself, mate. Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm really proud
I
of you.
can't.
This time.
I went to the gym yesterday. My body's hurt.
Oh, I
Can't
went to
get
the
my
gym.
hand back there.
You're so tight. So check out all that stuff. Check us out on www.yeahg'day.com.
Or on the street as we walk past. Hey,
Yeah, check me out. You can find all our stuff on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Yeah G'day Podcast or at Yeah G'day the Podcast. For any new listeners that want to check us out, come along. We've been tweeting lately about various things, whether it's the AFL Grand Final or some things about The Bachelorette Australia. You don't know. You never know. You never know what's going to come out.
You never know. And we have our own personal stuff as well. Your Leon Huxtable comedy on everything.
I am Leon
correct?
Huxtable Comedy. Yeah, I think so. I think Twitter's Leon Huxtable.
And I think I'm Tim Green Entertainer on Facebook, and I cannot remember my Instagram. It's like
T
I
for
think
Jim.
it's T for Jim.
T for
at
Jim,
T
I
for
believe.
Jim. Yeah.
So you can check those out. Tim and I have now finished our Melbourne Fringe shows. They went
We
great.
have.
Thanks everyone that came out.
Bloody
For those
big
that didn't get away from me,
congratulations to Leon.
a big congratulations to Tim as well.
No, a bigger congratulations to yourself.
No,
mate.
the biggest
No.
one would go to you, Tim, if there had
Hey.
to be one.
Watch it.
I hate this show and I hate you. So yeah, that was good. We finished that, and we'll go to the art party tonight, and we'll have a couple of bevies. Hoping for a people's choice, Tim. Hoping for a people's choice.
Yeah.
Thanks as always to Teylor Smirl Smelly Tea for our beautiful cover art.
Of course, and to Curtis Fernance. That's Fern Tree Music on Facebook for the introduction, outroduction, and the Harold Holt music.
Indeed.
Which was used this episode. Woo woo.
Thanks, as we've said as well, to the Auscast Network for letting us play on their network and do our same dumb shit but in a different place. And I think that'll tie us up. Share it with friends, share it with family, share it with anyone, throw it at someone. Just get it on a CD and just lob it at their head and they can listen to it.
And if you're jealous, don't do a Cash. You don't need to kill them.
Don't do a Martin Cash. Don't do Marty Cash.
No.
And again, congratulations to insert the name of the sports teams that won the NRL and the AFL Grand Final for doing a great job.
Good work, boys. You're really sports starred and you really deserve to get the, I don't know, trophy. I think there's a shield for NRL. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, unfortunately for the ones that lost, the other team did sports harder and scored more sports points than you.
That's just the facts.
As always, yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone. Catch us on the flippity flop.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.